listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show.
I just kind of love this song, so I like to let it linger a little bit. Plus, I also wanted to take a listen to this because somebody commented that we always play the wrong song. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But hey, everybody, Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another Project Runway episode like we are week after week.
Always here smiling.
Always here smiling. And this episode is called The Art of Fashion. Appropriately named.
Very true.
Yeah, so this is the first time that the three of us have actually not watched the episode together. So it's going to be an interesting recap because I have no idea of what your thoughts are. Whereas when we normally watch it, we're kind of like commenting and we're reacting and saying things out loud.
Throwing things.
And this was a really good episode, so I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. For those of you that are just joining us, my name is Lauren Mendoza, and I'm joined by...
Hey guys, it's Virginia.
And this is Cougar.
All right, so let's get started. The contestants, we're down to the top 6 now. Exciting.
Yep.
And they meet Tim at the Guggenheim.
There's a nice little spread, too. 3 girls, 3 boys.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't even notice that, but you're totally right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because in the beginning, they're kind of talking about how, wouldn't it be great if it was girls against guys?
Right.
And us girls are so much better. And I mean, being a girl, I understand that, but I was kind of like, I don't know if it's just that I don't like this group of girls.
Right.
But I was just like, whatever. But then I think about the guys, and I'm like, I really don't like the guys either.
Yeah.
So...
And this episode, it started out with the girls like all having a little complaint train about Richard and how he should have gone home, and they should still have Samantha, and all the boys, all they have is their egos.
Right.
You know.
Which I do agree
That's actually
with.
kind of true.
I agree with. They shouldn't have sent home Samantha last week, but whatever, she's gone. We got to move on.
Yep.
So they meet at the Guggenheim, and Tim tells the group that once again the judges have reordered their teams. So first they put together Stanley and Michelle, and Stanley's actually excited to work with her because I guess it's the first time he's ever worked with her.
Right.
In this whole time.
I feel like Stanley is kind of just like always like da-da-da. Like he never knows what's going on. Kind of like how the whole thing was with Richard before. He had no idea that Richard had a little crush on him. You know, so I kind of feel
he's
like
a little oblivious. But I also think he's also really focused. Like I think he's just there to do the task.
Right.
You know, we never really see him like
He's not making
struggling
waves.
or anything.
Yeah, no drama with him.
No
Not
drama.
talking
I
crap.
kind of like that about him.
The only thing about him is just, he takes forever to do his stuff. He's always the last out of the workroom.
Always.
Yeah.
That's
And then they put together an interesting combination, Patricia and Richard.
Oh.
What did you guys think when they were assigned together?
I thought it was a struggle for them, because they did the little background where Heidi, Nina, and was it Rachel Roy?
Yeah.
Commentating on like what would make them a good team. I think they were struggling to like come up with, well, Richard is he's more grounded and Patricia's really conceptual, so maybe they'll do something really good together.
Well, I think what they were doing was, and it made sense to me for this particular challenge. They had mentioned that Richard's really commercial and then Patricia's really artsy fartsy. So I think they were like, okay, well, that's kind of perfect for this particular challenge.
I feel like whenever they like lump somebody into like you're really good at this, that's when they struggle the most. Like you know how they like the candy challenge. They're like, oh, I'm so good at adorning candy, and then they totally flop because like they get in their own head. And like as we see through this challenge, we kind of get that where he's like, I don't know what to do, and she's like, oh, but I'm so artsy, you know.
Yeah.
And
I'm such an artist.
Then we get Leanna and Daniel, who they've worked together before, right?
And they were great together.
They were great together.
They were great together, but Leanna is like instantly, it's time for Daniel to go. And when she said that, I was like, you did not, honey. You did not say that.
She's
and she doesn't want to carry the team.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, she's up her own A. Like, that's her problem. Because at the very
100%.
Way
beginning,
up there.
she was like, oh, I could learn so much from Daniel, and that's why they work together. But now she's like, I'm so wonderful. Everybody else sucks. Like, there's no team in the world that could be as good as me.
I saw her as a young kid at the beginning of the show, and now she's just this horrendous beast of a woman.
I could not agree with you more. I feel like right when they announced that team and she's like, you know, like you guys said, it's his time to go and I really don't want to have to carry the team. When she said that, I was like, wait a second. When did this happen? When did you become greater than everybody else?
Right.
And automatically in this episode, Leanna just killed it for me. Like I was like, okay, I really don't like you right now. And then she just continues to be this kind of a bitch through the entire episode.
She was a wreck.
Yeah, she was. So they get paired together and Tim tells them that this is the HP Intel Challenge. And he goes into basically plugging, you know, their
the
tablet.
Most amazing commercial ever.
Pretty much. But in this challenge, they're creating 2 looks. One is wearable art, so more avant-garde, and then the other one is commercial. And in this challenge, they're going to be creating their own textiles using the inspiration of the Guggenheim, and the textile has to be incorporated in both pieces.
I always really like the HP challenge because they get to make their own print, and it really, you know, there's no excuse for it not being amazing because, you know, like you see them going to Mood before and they're struggling with what fabric do I do?
Right.
Oh, I can't find the print that's in my head. But this is like you get to make the print that's in your head.
Right.
You know, so it really shows how much range they have. And it's always interesting to see, you know, who's really kind of artsy and who can make a pattern and who can't.
I thought it was hilarious that they only got a half an hour to explore the Guggenheim.
Right.
Oh, hey, half an hour to go like check out ridiculous art from all over the world. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of insane. I think it was Patricia who was like, I just am trying to take a bunch of pictures of everything just so that you can at least take that inspiration with you.
Right. And Richard's like, Richard, oh my God.
And then it was interesting because in that time, so they did get the 30 minutes to just kind of explore, and it was Michelle and Stanley who right away totally worked together well. They even said in this time that they were both really inspired by the same pieces.
Right.
Which, you know, makes it easier because then you kind of are already going in the same direction with your piece.
Yeah.
But Patricia and Richard were interesting in this time.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that time.
You could just see there was going to be a struggle throughout the whole episode, and it started there, and it didn't end until the very end, when she even says, like, you know, I don't even really know what I'm doing or how it's going to come out until the very end. So it's like, how do you work with somebody who's like that? Which I completely understand because sometimes the work you do in the very last minutes is the best work. You know, because you have to do it. So yeah, that was a terrible team.
He was using like so many excuses though. You know, he kept saying he didn't know what to do because he needed to base what he was going to do off what she was doing.
Yeah.
Instead of just coming up with ideas, and she was really kind of pushing him like, well, if you're going to make a dress, what kind? At least come up with the form or the shape or whatever. And he had nothing, and we will see that he has nothing for so long, and it had nothing to do. His nothing had nothing to do with what she was doing.
Yeah.
She's kind of scary though. I mean, I like Patricia.
She's frightening.
But the way
woman.
like she's asking him, like you said, she's asking him, so what like shape are you thinking? And he just kind of is like goes silent because I think at that point he really hadn't created a concept. And her eyes, like she was like staring at him, like she was like she stared at him.
She looks like a frog.
Like a mother that was about to slap her kid. Like, you better tell me something right now or I'm gonna smack you.
Well, I've said from like day one, she has the crazy eyes. Like
she does.
It would scare me. It was scaring me through the TV every time. I'm like, oh gosh, I want to get a little farther
like
away.
She looks mean and angry at you.
Right.
Already, I would be like,
I would just do anything though. Like come up with some concept.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree. He really was just kind of like, I don't know, and never really came up with anything.
And freaking Leanna.
Yeah.
And Daniel.
Oh, that was bad.
That was so bad. I had to give a lot of credit to Daniel, though, because Leanna is just like, she's being a total bitch, not feeling his ideas, which Daniel does need to, he needs a little bit of like, he needs some of that modern touch, and that feminine touch, too, that she was supposed to bring to the team. But Daniel was so willing to go with her idea and just be like, okay, whatever you want, honey, we'll make it work.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he just basically said, why don't you do the art piece and I'll do the commercial piece, and I will base my design off of whatever you want to create. And she's like, okay. And she says to the camera, I think, that I really do think that's for the best. And I get where she's saying, Daniel needs a more modern look, and I'm young and I have that, so I can bring that to him. And I agree with that. But she was almost like, didn't want him to really do anything. Like, she wanted to be in charge, and she wanted to be able to tell Daniel what to do and just have him do it. And the same thing with Patricia and Richard. Right. That's what I noticed about the two of them. Like, Patricia and Leanna, I was like, how they both just want these guys to do whatever they say.
So that they don't drag them down.
Yeah.
And they don't have to carry the team.
Right, but at the same time, I mean, I think Patricia was like pulling at him to get something out of him, whereas Leanna was basically like, you just shut your mouth, you're going to do what I want, and it'll be good if I can control it.
I knew where Patricia was coming from, because if I had Richard as a partner, I would want to kill myself, and this was her challenge. Like, she was, I would have expected her to come out the winner on top, with her textile designs, but...
Yeah. And he told her that. He even said, this is your time to shine. And she's like, yeah, I know.
I know.
I know that. So you're going to be doing the commercial. It wasn't even a thought to them who was doing the commercial piece and who was doing the avant-garde piece.
Right.
So then after that, we go back to the workroom where they have their HPs in front of them and they actually get to create their textiles. What did you guys think about that time frame?
It was another really long commercial of, ooh, if I had this at home, I could do this.
Yeah.
And I was like,
the product placement is out of control this season. Out of control. I thought it was insane. They do so many insane things this season that I feel like I just maybe have not seen. 1 hour to design the textile. 30 minutes to tour the Guggenheim. 1 day for this insane challenge. Like, it looks like they got more than a day for this one. But I don't know what Project Runway producers are thinking. They're putting the screws to them. Yeah.
Did you guys have any textiles that stood out to you?
I thought it was interesting that only Stanley and Michelle, at this point, as they're going through the textile design process, those two are the only ones that are vibing. Like Patricia took over the textile design process. Daniel and Leanna, but they still, it looked like they were a little bit collaborative. I didn't, get too much of a feeling of what was going on there. But yeah, the total vibe between Michelle and Stanley was great.
Yeah. I was a little creeped out by the face at first, though, when they were doing that face textile.
Yeah, a little bit.
I was like, creepy. That's a little creepy. But, I mean, in the end, I think
I was surprised that Stanley let that one fly, that he was cool with it. Because it didn't seem, the face thing didn't seem like his style at all. Like it would be his style.
Yeah. And in all honesty, as I watched this portion of the episode, I really felt like the girls just took over and the guys just let them do it and was like, oh, it's great. Like who was it? Michelle with that face. Like, she said, I designed this face. I came up with this face. And then Daniel basically said, Leanna came up with this geometric design, and she did kind of like these squares or rectangles or whatever they were.
Which I thought was so boring. I mean, yeah, it's modern, but it's like the most basic modern. Like, I'm going to make some squares, I'm going to make some lines, and that's modern, so it's going to be perfect. I was not impressed with it.
You know what her textile actually reminded me of? Earlier in the season, when Patricia painted the squares, the square patches, with the silver. When I saw it from far away, when I saw Leanna's print, it looked like that to me. Like, it had a similar effect, and that's what I thought of. I actually liked the textile that Patricia did, like the triangles. I liked them because they were really long, and it was really modern. But you're right, had kind of a tribal feel to it as well.
It was good too.
That was my favorite of all of them.
I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, it just, it had her take on modern, and you could definitely see her as a designer in the print, whereas Leanna's was just so, I mean, you could get that print anywhere.
Right.
And I mean, well, Michelle's was just crazy, but I feel like that's just her. So it really spoke to her, but the other one was just
Yeah.
So after they design the textiles, Tim comes in and tells them that they're going to have $200 to buy just additional supplies and fabrics. But he also reveals to them that the winner of the challenge, and you want to be the winner of the challenge, will win $10,000 cash and an HP NVX2, which is basically the product they were plugging the entire time, right?
But talk about all
But
the
that's
sound bites after that are
exciting.
$10,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get money. Give me
Nobody
that
cared
money.
about the HP. I would be like $10,000. Like that's amazing. That's rent. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, for who knows how for a while. For a while is what I meant.
Like, wow, where do you
No. That's right. It's my $10,000 a month rent.
Right.
No, for a while is
Okay.
what I meant to say by that.
Take us to the penthouse, Lo.
To the penthouse. I don't even remember what happened at the penthouse. What happened at the penthouse?
No, at your
Oh.
$10,000 house.
I'm just like going by my notes. And
That was awesome.
I will take you to my $10,000 a month penthouse.
Okay.
But we're not supposed to be telling everybody about my fancy lifestyle.
Yeah, we're
Right.
living it up here at AFTERBUZZ.
I am. I don't know what to say. So $10,000. Ooh, I'm getting really loud now.
If you see sparkles on Lo's left hand, those are all little diamonds.
Oh.
And they're actually not even that little. They're probably 5 carats apiece.
No. We'll just let everybody believe that, actually. And that I have a $10,000 a month place.
Bling bling.
What can I say? Anyways, now I don't even know where. So they go to Mood. They buy fabrics.
Right.
They come back.
Leona is being
We're
a
in the
total
workroom.
biatch at
Yeah.
Mood. And then we get back to the workroom, and does it go right to Patricia and Richard? And
I don't know. I mean, in the workroom, I feel like there were so many different things going
Oh
on
my
and so
God,
many
so
different
much.
dynamics. You know, I mean, who did we see? Well, one thing I noticed in the workroom kind of later on, though, was Patricia calling Richard Daniel like multiple times,
multiple
right?
times. And
Yeah.
they don't even look anything alike.
Yeah. No, they
And
don't.
He said that he was about to pass out because of it. Like he was
Yeah.
getting so fed up he was going to pass out.
Yeah.
But back like at the beginning of the workroom, Patricia's trying to explain and show him her concept so that he can get started. She keeps, trying to get him to start on something.
Yeah.
And he cannot grasp what she's saying. He cannot take anything that she's giving him, her sketch, whatever she started on, and make something from it.
Right.
And it was horrible.
Yeah. And also, I
But
guess.
she's ready to kill him.
Yeah. There were just so many weird things, I think, happening in there. I thought it was interesting, though, when they all got their fabrics back. Patricia said something. She was like, I wish I could just continue to design fabrics. Like, she loved her fabric so much, that's all she wanted to do. And honestly, when I thought of myself being in this challenge, I thought that would be my most favorite thing to do.
Right.
I would love to do that. I feel like I could do that
All day.
all day.
Well, that's like a whole profession, just making textiles.
Maybe I
Textile
should
I
design.
think she would be great.
You could study textile design at FIDM.
Well, I make
Yes, you
$10,000 a
can.
month for my rent.
Yeah, so you can pay somebody to do your textile design for you.
I want to. I think that would.
You
just
can
be the
have
most
somebody
fun.
hold the brush for you.
Oh, perfect. Hold the brush for
And
me.
just tell them what to do.
Oh,
Oh, I need a little blue over
blue.
there.
Right.
No, while I'm like sipping a margarita or something. That sounds
In your
perfect.
GC Couture sweats.
Exactly. Exactly.
Love it.
How do you know?
Martin's such a lucky man.
I know. What can I say? I'm totally losing track now because like we're like so all
she's, like,
over the place.
Okay, so from
I'm
there, right
yeah,
after
daydreaming
the
at a penthouse and
daydreaming,
thinking that I'm wearing like it's. You guys go.
they get
Tell
their
me what we're doing
fabrics,
here.
then it goes
Yeah.
immediately, and there's this whole like little montage about Richard and his stupid
yeah.
bracelet.
Yes.
You got it?
Yes, I got where I'm at now.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah, there was actually like a 3-section little montage. Okay, Stanley and Michelle working together perfectly. Richard working on the stupid bracelet.
And
then
Patricia in the back going, this is bullshit.
This is
This is
God.
bullshit.
Yeah, I know,
Like,
and
just
everybody is
continually.
commenting. Like, I think there was a soundbite from Michelle about how he's just doing this bracelet, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
is
And
he
Michelle was the one that said, Patricia's too nice.
Yeah.
And everybody's noticing that he's working so hard on this bracelet, he hadn't
Anything.
even done anything for his dress or design or whatever he was going to send down the runway.
Right.
All he was concerned was with this bracelet that he thought was the most amazing thing. And the thing that he said about his bracelet, he said, this bracelet is a fantastic creation. Fashion was born this morning. That's what he said about his bracelet.
Fashion was born this
Yet
morning.
he needs to send down a model in like 8 hours. I think they showed like 8 hours until the runway, and he
Right.
had nothing done but a bracelet. So his model at that point would have been naked with
Right.
an
With a
ugly
bracelet.
black bracelet.
Yeah.
It wasn't even cute.
Oh,
it
and that
like
makes
a
me
toy.
think it was back in Mood when he was trying to pull out crystals and stuff, and Patricia's
God.
like freaking Richard with the crystals and Servosky and whatever. He is so freaking gaudy. How did he make it this far? I mean,
I think we wonder that about a lot of contestants.
But him
every
especially
season.
to the 6.
I agree.
To the 6, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then
well, when did Patricia and Michelle become best friends? Because when
they
Michelle,
BFF? She hated him.
Well, Michelle said like, "Oh, Patricia's just being too nice," but then I remember like Michelle hated Patricia.
Well, I think she's just saying in this instance, like Patricia's being really too nice, and she needs to get on Richard and push him to actually do something.
Yeah, I don't think she was being complimentary or anything.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but the whole time they're like, girls rule and everything else in their little house.
Well, now there's only 3 girls, and they're kind of stuck being friends with the ones that are left.
Right.
So
maybe.
Like I mean, we saw later on Leanna and Patricia, or Leanna kind of leaning on Patricia and going to her and saying that she was really overwhelmed. And I was thinking,
when did
these
that
two
happen?
are the bossiest of all of them. Like, I would imagine them to really butt heads, but I don't know.
It's mama and daughter.
But they get together and bitch about the boys.
Yeah. Leanna, one of the things in the workroom that really stood out to me was, well, I hope we're talking about the same thing, but she had used so much fabric. And
Fabric hog.
Yeah, and she had this, I guess, really big extra piece on the back of her dress at the time before she took it apart. And Daniel was like, let's cut that off because I need fabric for my piece. And she was like, well, no, it really needs it here. I just really felt like she wanted Daniel to fail.
I do too.
Oh,
because
the whole time I was thinking that.
Yeah, because it's like, how can you have 2 looks in the same collection
They're
without
supposed to be
any
cohesive.
fabric on the other one?
And Daniel being the nice guy that he's being, which I think he's being beyond too nice.
Oh my God.
Is just like, okay. And so
I can work with a quarter piece of fabric.
I'll make it work.
Less than a yard. Yeah. Less than a yard of their fabric. And she had this like overdone, big,
cake.
Poofy.
Somebody called it a cake.
Somebody called her design a cake, which is so much, that's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
And then we see Leanna break down. She cries. She's overwhelmed. And I think she made a comment, which I actually agreed with, was that her like print was like fighting with the structure of her dress, which I could see that.
When you see the structure of that dress, it's like it should be something sleek and modern and not bouffant.
Yeah.
Right.
So she then just takes it apart and starts all over. And then I think at that point, then we see Tim Gunn come in. Right?
I think her problem was, like, I feel like a lot of designers, when they think avant-garde, they have to make it huge and poofy and over the top.
I don't think
large,
that at
and
all,
that's
though.
not
Queen.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily it, know? And I think that was her main problem, was she was just trying to add volume, and volume isn't necessarily the way to go.
When I think of avant-garde, I do think of like really structured and like kind of like crazy sculptural art pieces.
Right.
That's what I think of. Like, not poofy.
I mean, if she would have done something like with that print, the way that he did that jacket, so tailored, like a longer dress of some sort, just really, almost like a sheath dress.
Yeah.
That would have been like a really cool piece,
Yeah.
But her dress was terrible. It was cake topper.
So we see Tim Gunn come in, and he goes up to Stanley and Michelle, and he's like, I get chills from your fabric. He like loved what they were doing. Right. They had no drama this episode. They were meshing completely.
1,000% believer in what they were doing.
That's right. Yeah, that was, so I mean, I thought it was really good to actually see Michelle working well with someone. I guess she worked well with Amanda, but I think Stanley's really talented, and so I think it was kind of nice to see her put with somebody like him, because I think you saw more of her talents.
Right.
And then there was Patricia and Richard.
Oh man.
And
this is my favorite
Tim
part of the
was
episode.
really concerned. Yeah, he basically told them, you got a lot going on and a lot more. What else did he say?
He was like, okay, he gave Patricia the rundown in like 2 seconds, what's going on here, whatever. She explained what she was doing. And then he turns his attention on Richard, who has nothing.
But a bracelet.
And he's like, you wait. So we were in the workroom yesterday, and this is all you have from today? There's a lot of like misspent time here. And then he even throws it out there, which I thought was a brilliant ad by Tim. He puts a little seed of like doubt and like, or not doubt, but like he talks about Richard maybe having like other
strategy,
a little strategy.
Yeah, he kind of called out Richard, but I don't believe it.
Called him out so hard. I don't think Richard's that smart. But what it made Patricia think, and you see her wheels start turning, like, oh my God, that totally makes sense.
Well, to tell everybody what he did, Tim Gunn basically said, you know, Richard, I would almost, by looking at this, I would almost believe that you're trying to, basically sabotage Patricia and throw her under the bus so that you guys can be in the bottom and you can, you know, call her out.
Right, because basically what he said that he was doing was that he was saying everything is Patricia's idea, and because everything's Patricia's idea and you're just helping her, you know, she should be the one to go.
Yeah, I didn't believe that though.
I don't
either.
That was a weak. Yeah, that was pretty weak.
But you know, you can see it coming in from that, like, okay, that, you know, like you could think that up.
Yeah, and you know, Richard's been in the bottom. He was in the bottom last
3
week,
times.
I think. Yeah, he's been in the bottom so many times that I could see where it might look that way. Like, okay, if I'm down in the bottom, I don't want it to be me going home. So I could see him doing that. But at the same time, I feel like he's letting Patricia take all the control because he's been in the bottom so often that I feel like the same with Daniel. They kind of don't know how much they trust themselves right now.
Right.
Like they know they're good designers, but maybe they're not giving the judges what they want. So I think they're trying to kind of step back a little bit.
Sure.
So that's how I saw it. So when Tim said that, and then Patricia was like pissed about it, and I'm like, I don't think that's really what's happening.
Oh yeah.
But, and then Tim goes to Leanna and Daniel, and basically tells Leanna that she needs to push herself further, and then she breaks down and cries.
She has a creative breakdown and crying.
Ridiculous.
Crying.
Yeah.
It was actually it was like if we could see side by side Leanna's breakdown with crying and Daniel's breakdown with crying from the other episode.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Leanna, I don't even know what to believe with her though. When she's crying, I'm like, are you
Crocodile tears?
Yeah, like what is this?
Right.
You're right. I don't
don't trust myself.
But then you see, like, it's a terrible dress, but then she's wondering how she's going to get the $10,000. It's like, do you really think you're going to be getting the $10,000 for that? Like,
right.
Do you see what else they're doing?
Yeah. So we continue with the workroom. Tim leaves, and I mean, from there, I feel like, you know, Patricia, obviously, she starts to get even more upset as Richard is not making any progress.
Zipper.
Oh yeah. What happened with his zipper broke? What happened?
Top, he didn't sew it right. So then the top came off, which happens if you don't know how to put a zipper on.
Right. The hidden zipper, yeah.
You basically will try to zip it up and there goes the
So Patricia saved him, gave him a new zipper.
Michelle did I love this. She did the most spot on again impersonation of Nina.
Yes, she did.
Perfect.
And I mean, if she can't make it as a designer, she could be a great stand-up comedian.
100%. She could be like Nina's fill-in.
I know.
She could.
And maybe they'll have her back.
Yeah. And then Michelle created that hat. Do you remember that? She created this like headpiece. And Stanley was like, no, if I know how to do anything, it's edit. I actually thought it was a really cool headpiece, but
it looked better on
her. I agreed. It did. Yeah. And I agreed that the one they ended up using made way more sense in the end. So that was basically our workroom. But before we get into the workroom, I want to talk about YouTube and iTunes, because we have some really great comments. I don't know if you guys have seen these.
I haven't. Please enlighten us.
Well, before I get to YouTube, I want to, of course, thank you guys for tuning in on iTunes and for subscribing. And please continue to do that because it helps us out. And everything you say, it's such great feedback. So we really appreciate it. We had some really great comments on iTunes. And this one I had to mention specifically for the name. Lizzle Dizzle Faux Shizzle commented, I love the podcast, but it really bugs me that they always use the wrong theme song for the intro. I've watched PR since season 1 and I have never heard that song. Please stop it. I compared, we kind of questioned that in the beginning, but then I was listening to the episode on my computer and then I listened to the song. It's the same song.
Really? Because I don't think I've ever noticed it while I'm watching it.
I've never noticed the theme song.
Well, that's the thing. I specifically listened to the theme song at the end, because at the end of this episode online, it was like the music went on a little bit longer.
Is the song at the end of the show?
I think that plays in both, in the beginning and the end. Yeah, please in both the beginning and the end. Either way, I had to mention that. So if you know Lizzle Dizzle Faux Shizzle, if you know the name of the song, please get back on iTunes and let us know the correct one. And when you put it on iTunes, it will be there for good. So we will never mess up again. And then, of course, I want to say thank you to Toyboat77, who has commented, I think, a number of times on iTunes and continues to be our fan.
Thank you,
Toyboat loves us. And this is a good comment, too. Doesn't love the team format this season. The drama is good, but you really don't get to see everyone's aesthetic. You really only get a feel for a few designers. I feel like that's something we've been talking about this entire season, and we probably couldn't agree with you anymore.
Sure.
Like, I agree with you 100%. Thank you, Toyboat. So that's our iTunes. And then on YouTube, Lisa Simpson rules first.
That's true.
Lisa Simpson rules first has left us a number of comments. She's fantastic. Like, I think she's commenting as she's watching.
Right.
So she just leaves a number of fantastic things.
Quotables.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to. First of all, she said she loves the concept of AfterBuzz TV. We're so lovely. So
Thank
that's
you,
great.
Lisa
She agrees with us. There's so many comments. You have to go on YouTube to actually read them. Otherwise, I'll be reading them for a while. But they're great. So Lisa Simpson rules. You rule. Thank you for commenting. Continue to comment because I want to hear what you have to think or what you think about this episode. So that's all I have for that.
Boom.
Now,
Awesome.
Now we shall
Love
get
you
into,
guys. Thank you so much.
Right? It's so much fun. You have to go and read these comments because they're great. Let's get to the runway.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Heidi comes out.
She was looking good.
That's exactly. I wanted to actually comment on what she was wearing.
Looking good.
She was wearing a black leather dress it was like 3/4 sleeve. It actually went knee length, and then it had like this cutout pattern up at the chest. It was really sleek, fitted. It looked really hot on her.
Yeah, cutouts are really hot this season.
Yeah, they are. And the leather, it just all looked really good.
The makeup was really nice.
Everything.
The hair was done well.
Perfect. Perfection. So then we see our judges. We have Rachel Roy again.
I love
for
her.
Zach Posen.
Love her.
I do too, but I miss Zach.
I miss that.
I really want to know
Yeah.
what's up with that.
Her teeth are really white. When I watch it, I'm just
She's
like, how are
really
your
hot.
teeth so
She
white?
is really hot.
She's really hot.
And then our guest judge is Tracy Reese, a fashion designer.
Who has designed for Michelle Obama.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. They keep getting the Michelle Obama designers to come on this show, don't they?
Maybe
real.
she's
Like
an
it.
executive producer.
That'd be cool.
Ooh.
That would be cool. Then I want to see her be a guest judge.
I know,
that
right?
would be amazing.
Maybe it's coming up.
She
we
knows
don't know.
her fashion. Yes, please get Michelle Obama on. Okay, so first design that we see come down is Leanna. And what she ended up creating was kind of like, it was like a fitted long, but almost had like the mermaid effect down at the bottom, kind of exaggerated. And then she did this like black tulle.
Yeah.
Like bunched and kind of just that went all the way down across the body up to the shoulder.
With some little
With some
things coming out
in
of it.
It was awful. It reminded me of, when the three little witches or whatever they are on Sleeping Beauty, they make the dress for the girl before they use their magic, and it's just like,
Yeah.
that's what it reminded me of, because it was just like a big poof and cinched at the bottom and awful.
Yeah. And then she did
I don't quite recall Sleeping Beauty.
She
That's my
did do
favorite.
a wiry black headpiece, and that was actually the only thing I liked. I liked the headpiece. I thought that was actually really cool.
I
and
felt like she
artsy.
copied.
I didn't mind her dress.
Okay.
I didn't think it was terrible at all. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
It was not avant-garde. So
I don't know what it was. It was kind of messy, but
at least there was somebody on the team to carry Leanna.
Definitely there was. Daniel's look came down, and he did just a short little mini skirt in that.
Because that's all he had fabric
in that
for.
textile, exactly. Luckily, he has a skinny model, so he can, not have to use very much. And then he did his like perfect fitted black jacket.
I want that jacket.
Amazingly fitted
Right?
with the leather sleeves, leather details, leather lapel, thin leather lapel.
Thin leather lapel, and then like a tied, like knot belt kind of effect.
You can tell they had a lot more time on this for this particular challenge.
And I do feel, though, that he's really good at jackets. You know, a few people mentioned that we've seen Daniel do the jacket before, so it's nothing really new. And I do feel like he can kind of bang those out really quickly. Like, he's good at those.
Yeah, he knows it.
But they don't get old, and they're so modern, and they look really, I mean, they're so chic. I love it.
Yeah, it's like seeing Dimitri. I mean, he did like a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Uli did everything. Hers was white and the same, and you know that they just know their thing.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're getting down to the very end, why would you change it up and do something? You like do something you're really strong at because you need to stay in there.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And the judges had some interesting comments about this one because, I mean, everybody thought that Leanna's dress was a mess. They couldn't get over that, but they were in love with Daniel's piece. And I was
Heidi wanted it.
Heidi wanted it. I
Rachel
was so
wanted
happy
it.
to see that because, like you said, Leanna in the very beginning was like, I don't want to have to carry Daniel. And look who ended up carrying her.
Yeah. And
You
she
know?
even made a snarky comment when they got to that portion of, at the beginning of the runway that that she feels good about the team now.
Yeah.
Like-
now she feels good about the team. Right.
Yeah. Good for you.
She's rude.
Because you didn't do anything but
She's
cry.
so rude.
Rue.
Patricia.
I don't say Rue. You say Rue. Or wait, the other way around.
Oh. Anyways, Patricia comes next, and she sends down, like, I don't know, overly long, like, skirt, kind of
Kind of looked like a cigarette with
ruffled.
some smoke coming
or
out of the top.
It was, like, layered, it looked like, with that painted fabric on, kind of in between the top portion. And then the top was, like...
a fishnet. Not a fishnet, a
No.
mosquito
No,
net.
No, the actual top, it was like she was bound in it.
Oh.
Like she, her arms weren't through sleeves or anything. It was like her arms were.
it was like a straight jacket.
It was like a straight jacket. Perfect.
Right.
And then, of course, there was like this white mosquito net looking veil that basically covered the model's entire face.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I thought the print was really nice,
Right.
and I could see the artistic side behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't mind it, but yeah.
I didn't mind it. I mean, it was supposed to be avant-garde. I thought there were too many layers of like kind of ruffly. There was like really tight pleats, and then there was
Yeah.
like the ruffly skirt or train coming out from the bottom that didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
But I thought, yeah, it was a nice touch of the avant-garde with the headpiece and everything, and keeping her body tight to her. It was very McQueen.
Yeah.
Or keeping her arms tight to her, I mean.
Yeah, I did love the print. I loved the top portion of the print. Is that the painted part? Is that the part that she painted?
Yeah, the whole thing's...
No,
kinda.
not well. The top part,
top
is that
part
the
is-
textiles, the skirt, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But
so
she
I love
painted
the
on top.
painted part. Yeah, that's like my favorite part of that. And then we see Richards comes down the runway, and his was this. I wrote horrible skirt. I thought it was awful.
Awful.
It was like a pleated.
Looks like bloomers from
Yes,
that guys wore.
it looks like bloomers with like a really what I think looks like a very dated belt.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that thing was. I mean, like the worst hardware choice he could possibly
Right?
make. This was a perfect example of how he has no taste.
Yeah, his skirt looked like a coffee filter.
Yes,
That's all I could think. Coffee
Yes,
filter.
coffee
God.
filter, and then they gave the commentary from them. Patricia saying, it was bad or whatever, bad like teamwork, and he's like, this did not reflect me as a designer at all. Then you should have stuck with you, jerk. Like.
Well,
he's
that wasn't
such a
even Patricia, I don't think, what he did. Like, I feel like she didn't really help him much. She didn't guide him at all. And I felt like, was waiting for guidance and wasn't coming up with his own idea. And this was a last minute thing.
Right. And
Like, we
where
don't know
was
what else
the
to do.
bracelet?
Yeah, thank God the
Where
bracelet didn't come
was
down,
the
though. It
bracelet?
wouldn't have even gone with anything he did. And the top was what he actually did in the textiles. And it was just basically like high neck, like sleeveless,
Yeah.
straight.
I wish that
Hank
the
kinda
bracelet had come down so that the judges could have ripped him for it.
So that nobody could have commented on his bracelet that he spent so much time on.
Right.
Yeah. Then we have Michelle. And it was kind of amazing. I thought her dress was like
Kind of amazing.
amazing. I don't even know if I can describe it, but it was basically kind of like a big army green dress with like a ruffled skirt. And then it was an overcoat
Well, it was
top.
a
right?
jacket.
On top it was like an overcoat.
There was an overcoat with a zip, kind of like she did last week or 2 weeks ago for that man's vest, where it kind of zipped up the side.
Right.
And then that was part of the overcoat. And then the skirt or the dress underneath was actually made from the little bubble wrap stuff.
Right, and
her and Stanley painted it together.
Yeah.
And so that went underneath. It was beautiful.
It was all like poofy, ruffly.
And then she hand painted the pattern at the bottom at the train of the petticoat.
Yeah.
And made the funky hairpiece.
I thought it was really amazing. I like the hairpiece that came up and like spiraled around the head. I thought that was really cool, and I love the color of it too.
Yeah.
And then there is Stanley's piece that comes down, and it's just like a cute little baby doll dress, really flowy with pockets. It had a lot of movement. It was primarily the textile with the face, and then up at the top was just kind of the solid black, like around the neck and the arms. And then we should also say that Michelle incorporated that same textile around, I think, the arms of her piece.
Right.
I thought theirs was perfect.
I did too. I thought the avant-garde look was wonderful, and then the runway or the ready-to-wear, I felt like it was a really nice like length, because that's something that's really coming in right now, and just it was fun.
Yeah.
Nina called them the yin and the yang.
Yeah. I feel like Stanley's, like, most body types can wear that. Like, if you have flawed areas, you could wear that and you'll hide it really well. If you don't, it'll still look really cute on you. I feel like it's such kind of a perfect dress.
Right. You could be pregnant with quadruplets and still pull
Totally,
it
and
off.
no one will know.
Nobody
That's what celebrities
will know.
should be wearing when they're hiding their pregnancies. Right there. That's what they need to be wearing.
Baby dolls all day, every day.
Yeah.
And dark ones at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Slimming and hiding.
Perfect. And that's what Nina called it, perfection. She loved it. They all kind of loved the drawing that Michelle did on the back. So naturally, those two were our top.
Absolutely.
They were our top team.
Top.
And then we had Patricia and Richard, and it was between Patricia and Richard and Liana and Daniel to be in the bottom.
Right. Well, when they talked to the judges, they went through and they asked everybody, if you were in the top, which one are you going to be? Or, who do you think should win? Like they do every week, should you go or whatnot? And when they got to Liana and Daniel,
oh, man.
Liana was so upset that Daniel was like, well, me, because my look's better, basically.
Which was true.
Which was so true. And then the whole time, I mean, when I'm watching this, I'm thinking back, what did she do for that outfit? She didn't even want to give up fabric for that outfit.
Right.
So like, how can she even be upset
I
about
don't know. I think it was more 50-50.
Yeah. And I was like, I wanted to smack her through the TV. I was so mad. And then later they go back to the little area where they all sit, and she was like, I can't believe you threw me under the bus like that.
She started crying.
I'm so betrayed. I was like, what are you betrayed for? You've been talking smack about this guy. And then he was like, well, if you're calling that your look, then this is my look. And she was like, well, no, that is my look, but then the other one's both my looks. I was like, where does she get off claiming two looks? Yeah,
I know. I liked how Daniel actually said that. He's like, well, you said that your look was all yours, and she said it was all mine. And he's like, well, then now you're saying that this one is yours too? And she didn't. She's like, I feel so betrayed, and she just was sobbing. And that's, another one of those times where I'm like, are you really crying? Like, how do you cry like that? Because you don't seem sincere at all, and you really look like you're putting on a show.
Right.
Like, she just seems like such a baby.
Where does she come off is what I was like, not just crying, like, where does she think she did that work? Like, I just want to know, like, did you sew it? Did you construct it? Like, what did you do for that look?
The best part of the runway to me, or this part that we're speaking of, was when they cut back to the judges discussing it, and Heidi calls her out. And I was so glad that Heidi could see that. Heidi said, well, I think Liana thinks she's the cat's meow. And they're like, oh yeah. They all agree. They all know that Liana thinks she's wonderful.
Right.
Yep.
And you're right, Cougar, what you said. In the beginning, we thought she was like this sweet girl, and she was like all about, being willing to learn.
Right.
And now it's like she thinks she's the best thing in the world. I don't get it, but I was so happy that Heidi said that, because, they don't see what happens in the workroom and how they work amongst each other. So I thought it was kind of amazing, in just the time that she's seen Liana on the runway, that she could already pick up on that.
Right.
Made me happy.
Me too. And Nina didn't like her either, it seemed like.
No one's buying this, Leanna. No one is buying your little sob story, and you're not as amazing as you think. Sorry. So.
But I'll take you out to a nice steak dinner, Leanna.
No, you won't.
No, I won't. I've got
We
a
won't
girlfriend.
let you. We won't let you because we don't like her.
And we like your girlfriend.
And
yeah, I like your
I like
girlfriend.
my girlfriend a lot.
So that basically concludes the runways. We have Stanley and Michelle at the top, and then Patricia and Richard, we find out, are in the bottom. Leanna is lucky that she's safe because Daniel carried the team.
Yes.
I'll
Amen.
second that.
Yes.
Amen.
So the winner is Stanley. He was so excited, and you guys disagreed. You don't think he should win.
No.
Well, I mean, Michelle made the textile, and
Yeah.
she made that huge dress. She painted
And she
it by
painted it.
hand. I mean, yeah, his look was cool, but she should
And I
won.
think you could tell that like there's probably a little animosity there because
Yeah.
of the win, because they go back to the room together and he's all like in the zone, so happy, and she's just got this look on her face like,
what just
happened?
He's like
But-
skipping around.
Oh,
like,
and they asked him
Yeah.
to like talk about whose part was what, and he's like, well, I did this, and this. She's like, well, I did this, and by the way, I did that and that
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah,
How
it's
did-
kind of interesting how he ended up getting that win.
I don't know.
But she handled it in stride. I mean, she didn't
did.
cause a scene about it or create any tension. I feel like they really worked
They
so
did.
well together that she probably knows she should have won, but was at the same time maybe happy for him.
And
Maybe-
plus,
yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think she's getting into that zone where she's got a winner mentality.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So she's like $10,000. I'm gonna get $100,000.
Let's hope so. Yeah, we'll see.
I gotta
So
say,
she's your new favorite?
she is my new favorite. I've said this entire season. I have not had a favorite. Nobody's
Yeah.
really come out strong. We liked Daniel at the beginning. We liked so many people at the beginning
Yeah.
that fell off super quickly. Michelle has proved herself the last few weeks, and I'm starting to like her more. and
Do you
more.
have a favorite, Virginia?
You know, it's funny. I kind of feel like Crazy Eyes. Like,
Crazy
Really?
Eyes?
I feel like she's
Wow.
gonna put on a really weird show. Like
Because
that's
she's
what
looking at you
She
through the
already
screen
put- yeah.
and mesmerizing you, and you're like,
She already
Patricia.
put on a weird show tonight. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what's weird?
Hello.
I like Michelle a lot. I don't want to say that Daniel's my favorite, but I feel like I'm really pulling for him. I feel like he's way too nice to Leanna, but I think he can.
Even after
just
last
wanna see
week
him
with
do
his
well.
special.
I
don't remember.
want to see him do well, but what I can say is that now I want Leanna gone. That's
Right.
it. Like, I don't know that I have a standout favorite that I want one particular person to win. I don't feel that just yet. Maybe as we get down to the bottom, I'll know. But I really don't feel like Leanna, like, she needs a reality check, and I think that for her is just going to be
That's a
getting
good
sent home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see. Then Patricia and Richard are in the bottom, and I think this was a given. Really funny to see Patricia cry on the runway.
Oh my god. And she didn't just cry, she like chortled.
Like they had to wait to tell the results because she was like trying
Patricia.
to catch her breath.
Patricia,
You're safe.
you're safe.
But I know it was hard for her because she felt this should have been the challenge that she won.
Right.
Right.
And there was not, well, first of all, her look didn't get rave reviews from everybody. So even with or without Richard, she wasn't going to be in the top regardless.
Right.
But Richard was out.
Thank
Thank God we got that one out of the way. And that basically concludes our entire episode. Any last thoughts, guys?
Well,
Silence.
I'm glad with the 5 that we have left. I think that Leanna does have some talent. I hate her attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Patricia obviously has talent. I think that we have 5 talented people that have
Yeah.
not really gotten to show what they can do yet. They got to show a little bit at the very beginning. I think Daniel maybe is back hitting his stride if he gets to do more. If he focuses on what he's good at and he does more of these tailored
Mm-hmm.
pieces, we'll see some great looks from him. So hopefully these last few episodes of Project Runway will blow us away and make
Yeah.
up for this train wreck of a season.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that it's going to be Michelle, Stanley, and Patricia in the bottom 3.
The bottom 3.
I mean, so top
What?
three, sorry, whatever, at the very end.
So Patricia, yeah.
Because otherwise you have
don't think
Leanna, Daniel.
Yeah,
I
Daniel's
don't
pretty
know.
limited.
They're
That's true.
really questioning every piece that he puts down right
He's
now.
pretty
They are.
limited.
Yeah.
But
We'll
he
see.
'Cause he didn't
tailors
graduate.
clothes the
He
best.
does. I want to see him succeed. We're just going to have to figure it out as we go along.
Right.
And
who we
next
want to
week,
win. And next week, what about next week?
I didn't see what's coming up.
Oh, we didn't see what was coming up. Tell us.
I don't remember.
Oh. Well, if any of you know, please comment on YouTube and maybe give us a sneak peek of what we can be expecting. Otherwise, we will see you then. It'll be another great episode. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Oh, wait, where can you find us? I always forget to do that. You can follow me on Twitter at @low_Vias. And
you can follow me at Virginia Reyna.
At Cougar Tweets.
And that's it. Now I'm done. Now I'm finally done.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Done.
I think
Theme
I've been
music.
done. I think it was done before I started. I've been kind of
Penthouse.
Penthouse.
Juicy
All
Couture
kinds of
sweats.
things. Yeah.
From
Margaritas.
Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.